Kayla, my dear, listen to me. Run. Brian Moses hung this house.
As my father-in-law's dementia progressed, he started yelling like this more and more frequently. I tried to calm him down by acting as if nothing was wrong, and that everything was all right. But my husband and mother-in-law would cast cold glares and colder words at both me and my father-in-law.
Did you shut the frick up, you old gas bag? You've lost your damn mind.
You're so pathetic. Well, no matter. We just have to hang on a little longer until everything will be all right.
Any sensible person would immediately wonder what exactly she meant by that. But for now, calming my father-in-law down and taking care of him in general was far more important. One day later on, I found a letter left by my father-in-law who was apparently going to be hospitalized. When I unfolded the piece of paper and read what he had written, I learned the truth, and I quickly ran out of the house as fast as I could. This is the story of how my husband was collaborating with my mother-in-law to do the unthinkable to me and to my father-in-law, and how his preparations and my willingness to act very quickly helped us expose the pure evil of the traitors. My name is Kayla, and I am a 54-year-old part-time housewife. My husband, Percy, is 56 years old and works as a department manager in a locally successful company. We had been married for 30 years, and our 2 children, 1 son and 1 daughter, are now completely independent and have their own families. At our house, we are a family of 4, living together with my parents-in-law, the Claptons. B-Team. Mr. Clapton seemed to quickly cheer up whenever people said kind words to him, and he never did anything violent, so I thought he was suffering from a mild form of dementia. But gradually, his dementia seemed to be progressing, and he started to have these intermittent outbursts of yelling nonsensical things from time to time.
Oh my God, those will never see you. I was viciously. Everyone ran away. Hit crotches there. I cruised, ran away from this house.
Oh, Abraham, it's all right. You're just having another laugh as usual, dear. You're so funny. Indie tags. I tried to calm him down by acting as if nothing was wrong and that everything was all right. But Percy and Edith would cast cold glares and colder words at both me and Mr. Clapton.
Would you shut the frick up, you old gas bag? Hey! You've lost your damn mind.
Can you just put him in a nursing home?
Yes, I suppose that's a good idea. I'd rather have professionals take care of him than have him treated so coldly and cruelly in his own house. Percy and Edith are both such incurable hypocrites, because while it was them that implied we put Mr. Clapton in a home, they both protested the idea when I agreed to it.
Hey, yo, wait a damn minute. Just how much do you think all that will freaking cost? Nottingham free. Piccadilly's a good deal of his legacy at this pace.
I agree. I'm having a lot of trouble paying my bills because of this senile old man.
I'd grown tired of their selfishness and their constant complaining, and I became more and more suspicious of both of them having a strange affinity for being greedy. If that's how you both feel, then you let him stay in this house and help take care of him. This is his home where he raised you, Percy, and where he welcomed you, Edith.
It's precisely why it's his house that we're letting you take care of him, ain't it?
That's right. You're not entitled to any inheritance, and all you can do is take care of him to just maybe and get a slice.
Those were the most ridiculous words I'd ever heard in my life. I had my suspicions about the increasing number of times these 2 bastards mentioned the word inheritance. But Edith, in particular, had put Mr. Clapton in danger on not 1, but 2 separate occasions. I also felt that Percy was also not trustworthy. The reason for this was that I had received the results of the investigation of my husband's affair from the detective agency. I found out that he was having an affair with a woman who is a junior employee at his workplace, and that he was paying a considerable amount of money to her. I was more concerned about Mr. Clapton, who knew nothing about the fact that his son was cheating on his wife and that his life might be in constant danger. One Friday, I was shopping for groceries for the lunches and dinners on Saturday and Sunday. As I was browsing the supermarket, I caught a glimpse of Edith. Thinking about feeding my father-in-law was quite important on Fridays, since both the Helper Dispatch Organization and the daycare center were closed on the weekends. She was in the fish section putting frozen shrimp and crab in her shopping basket. I was immediately taken aback and stood still with shock. As soon as she finished her shopping, she quickly left the supermarket. I hurried back home, only to find that Mr. Clapton was not there. The helper on duty that day was waiting for me to come home.
Well, Mr. Clapton has gone out with his wife, ma'am. They had a reservation at a restaurant today, and they are having dinner over there tonight.
She went on to show me a certain letter Mr. Clapton had left us. When I read the name of the restaurant, I was relieved. It was a restaurant that he had frequented for decades, and he was personally very good friends with the head chef, who knew about all of his allergies. The helper then gave me another letter telling me she was forbidden from opening, and that she was to give it to me direct. She then packed up her bag, bid me good night, and left. I opened the letter, which was just a folded piece of notepad. The helper had retrieved it from the living room by the telephone. I unfolded the piece of paper and read pretty much the same words that Mr. Clapton sometimes shouted out loud in his outbursts.
Ryan also was invited from this house.
Chips like remembering Edith's shellfish shopping spree, I opened the kitchen cupboard where his medicine was supposed to be, only to find the bag of EpiPens gone. In its place was yet another letter, but this one had apparently been written in advance, and it was written in my father-in-law's beautiful handwriting. It really didn't seem possible that he was suffering from dementia as of then, because it was as polite and well-written as always. And this is what it read.
Echoes, Kayla, my dear, if you are reading this letter, I assume you are still at home. You must listen to me. I should his old station. Run! The cat expects run. Ryan to run away to place. Immediately. I have the EpiPen so I can protect myself in the event of an emergency. My son and wife are working together on something terrible. They want to harm us, maybe even kill us. You need to contact this lawyer as soon as possible and tell him everything you know. They'll know exactly what to do. Don't worry.
My father-in-law kept this letter in a cupboard in case I didn't believe the first message. As I mentioned, it was in a particular cupboard where we kept his EpiPens. If you don't know what those are, they're a thin syringe shaped like a pencil that injects epinephrine, also known as adrenaline, which is a hormone that counteracts allergic reactions. It was precisely what we needed in case of anaphylaxis, which is a life-threatening allergic reaction, and only my father-in-law and I knew where we kept them. I decided to follow what Mr. Clapton's letter said. Then I heard the front door open quietly. Someone had entered the house with stealthy footsteps. I quickly hid in a tall, narrow closet. Someone looked into the kitchen, and then into the living room. I peeked out from the shadows and saw a man of similar height and build to Percy, wearing a black coat with a balaclava hat covering his face, and holding what looked like a rope in his hand. My teeth chattered and rattled with fear, but I forced my feet to move, strode to the kitchen door, opened it quietly, and ran out at once. Behind me, I heard a voice that sounded a lot like my husband's calling for me. I didn't dare turn around and kept running barefoot. That must have been my husband. What was he going to do to me? What was he going to do to me? I don't...
Come here, Rick, woman! I need all the money I have so that I can at least give them both a decent life. You need a break. I'm so up to here with this stupid, boring-ass life of mine, all because your frickin' geezer of a father is strict on me and won't give me any money to spend.
We'll find a way to still get more money, Edith. I know we will. That old man still makes so much money, and he also doesn't even remember what he ate after 10 minutes. What with the dementia and all, it's gonna be easy to take his bacon now. How about we do what you did the other night and give him an allergy?
That's a good idea. But you still cheated on your wife, and you're gonna have to pay alimony even if the old man disappears. Hey, Kyla's so freaking serious. She could theoretically do the job on her own, like herself after having a brutal phase of nursing depression. Blaming the...
That's good. That's good.
I provided this recording to the police, and they brought my husband in for being an accessory to Edith's crime. According to the police, the man in the black coat who broke into our house that day, targeting me, was indeed Percy. I was staying at a business hotel that my lawyer had arranged for me, and when my husband's arrest assured me I was going to be safe, I called my children and told them what had happened. The children were very surprised at first, then immediately turned furious. After Mr. Clapton was discharged from the hospital, he divorced Edith and severed his ties with Percy through Mr. Phil. Meanwhile, I divorced Percy and filed a claim for alimony against him and the woman whom he was having an affair with. But after being investigated for crimes in his workplace, he was fired from his job, and it was thus unlikely that he would be able to pay me the alimony. He was later convicted with a suspended sentence, and since he came back to work, he has been working part-time and living in poverty. The woman in whom he was having an affair with had also left the company and is no longer in contact with him. No one knows if she bore the child or if she decided to get rid of it. Mr. Clapton regretted his remarriage and paid me compensation as a genuine apology for the harm and discomfort his wife and son had caused me. After that, he moved into a nursing home that he had contracted himself and is now working hard to rehabilitate his injured legs and hip. He made steady improvement, and as of now, he is no longer in need of a wheelchair. A walker sufficed, and even that is becoming more and more unnecessary. I'm so glad to see Mr. Clapton recover quickly back to his old charming self. After my divorce with Percy, I contemplated keeping in contact with Mr. Clapton, because while he himself is such a sweetheart, talking to him could potentially bring back some trauma from when Percy attempted to hang me with a rope that fateful night. I eventually decided against becoming incognito, because he was nonetheless a very important grandfather to my children. So I rented an apartment within walking distance of each